Going to call the regular meeting of the Board of Education for Wednesday, October 6th, 2021 to order. We'll start with the pledge. Right.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call.
Mrs. Burnsworth.
Here.
Mr. Gaisford.
Here.
Mrs. Perkowski. Here. Mr. Beckering.
Here.
Mr. Iannelli.
Here.
Mr. Tennant.
Here.
And Mr. Dry was excused.
Resolved to accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that a first vote?
We just joined the meeting. She's trying to.
Oh, did you guys join me?
I did not. It didn't pop
Did
up.
not come up.
I will take this
Oh, you have to
opportunity to
refresh.
mention that
Oh, you have
we
to
are
refresh?
making a return to our technology. So please be patient with us as we navigate our board docs.
You have to refresh.
I'm still,
Yeah, I saw.
Is it proper?
I got it.
I got it.
Can we go back to that mission meeting? I'm gonna have to re-enter.
Okay.
Thanks.
Resolve to accept the agenda as amended.
John moved it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I said, thank you. The voting should be open.
Oh, what are you doing?
Motion carried. Was it carried?
Yeah.
Okay, you have all the votes. Thank you.
Resolve to accept the minutes of the September 22nd, 2021 regular meeting as presented.
So moved.
Second. The vote is open.
At this point in the meeting, we will give an opportunity for those here in our presence or online to address the board. Do we have any of those? If you are watching us from home, you can put your message or question into the chat,
The Q&A.
the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. Okay, resolve the reading of the non-certificated personnel memorandum 2021-16 be waived and that the action items dated October 6, 2021 be approved as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
Second.
Mrs. Burnsworth, you'll note that it's a relatively light personnel memorandum, whether they're certified or they're non-certified, but we do have a substitute listed there. We have Mr. Warren picking up some additional advisor roles, so we're always appreciative of those folks doing that. But other than that, nothing more to report.
Okay, so we can go ahead and vote. Goodness, when you have all the votes, can you just read out the result?
There's just one vote left for Mr. Gaisford.
I just realized it doesn't come up unless you're on the. It doesn't, I had the memorandum, it doesn't pop up if you're on the memorandum, you have to go
Correct.
back to.
Correct, yes.
I was waiting for it to pop up. Sorry.
We have all the votes, we can move to the next motion.
Resolved that the reading of the teaching and administrative personnel memorandum 2021-16 be waived and that the action items dated October 6, 2021 be approved as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Nothing more to add.
Voting is open. Darren was first, that's.
That's
I just want to make you know that my son is in there as a substitute teacher for when he's home.
Ms. McGinnis, can you just read out whether it was a yay or a nay, so that those at home know how we all voted?
Oh, I can do that,
Yeah,
of course.
thank you.
Yes, that was a unanimous vote on this last motion.
Thank
You're welcome.
Okay, now we'll move on to new business, the superintendent's report.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Burnsworth. Just a quick capital project update. Mancini, the project construction firm, was on site of all days, early Saturday morning here, doing some final work on the roof, right here, of course, in this general area, so we're glad that that's all done. We have a bit of an issue with some doors, new doors around the pool area and locker room area. So I reached out to our construction manager today to work out a schedule for that to be remedied. We also have an issue with several new wooden doors that were recently installed down at Greater Plains. So that contractor from Elmira will be on site tomorrow afternoon to remove those doors, bring them back to their shop over the weekend, and hopefully return them on Monday, but not quite sure. There is with any double door, there's a locking mechanism. On these particular doors, there's a locking mechanism that sticks out just a little too far for the doors to close properly. So they are going to go and work their magic and fix those and return those at the latest sometime next week. Transportation, we are definitely starting to see some marked improvement with our bus service, which is good. Mr. Brunza is new on the scene and working well down there. Laura Hagson, the dispatcher, is doing a great job working through some of the challenges that we're facing. Of course, Mr. Plout's down there. Meeting with them once a week is good. The lines of communication are very strong with these new folks down there. And we're going to keep our fingers crossed that that service continues. So that is good news. As far as COVID, faculty and staff testing is moving along smoothly. Yesterday, we sent out a letter about our requirement to offer student COVID-19 tests to our students whose parents opt them into that program. We still have a long way to go in terms of identifying the mechanism for us to do that. So this data will help us move forward and determine exactly how large of an undertaking this will be, as well as help us determine the staffing that we'll need to do this. Anxious to see how that will all turn out, but we'll continue to work with our BOCES and the County Department of Health on those things, such as supply of tests, and hopefully that will happen sooner rather than later. I do want to say that we're also still occasionally experiencing a positive here and there, which we knew would happen. Consequently, there are some quarantining that has been taking place. I just want to say that our nurses and our administrative team, as they work through that and they contact trace, because of course that falls on our shoulders, they are really doing a wonderful job, and certainly appreciate their effort on that. Also wanted to share that Friday we're hosting our Destination Oneonta Educational Technology Conference. And it's going to be a wonderful event, and certainly want to thank Bonnie and Colleen for all their efforts, as well as the entire conference team who has put that together. I'm certainly looking forward to that. Finally, I just want to say this. Over the last week and a half, we've had occasion to call our crisis team together for some unfortunate circumstances in the district. And I just want to say that, you know, as a team, really impressive when that group comes together, and the way that they gel and work together to, you know, for the benefit of our students, not only our students, but their families as well, just to keep everyone as informed as possible. So it's been a challenging week and a half, but just a great group of people to work through those challenges. So, and nothing else, that'll conclude my report.
Anyone have any questions? Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Resolved that the reading of the financial memorandum 2021-14 be waived, and that the financial action item dated October 6, 2021 be approved as recommended by the superintendent of schools. Should that be -16?
No,
No?
okay. No, I don't think so, because it was in consecutive order,
Okay.
the numbers that you, and there may have been more personnel memorandums than financial memorandums.
Thank you.
Second.
Discussion.
It's a pretty light memorandum like the rest of the agenda. The budget amendment is to replace a changing table in the special needs room that's been worked on and told. And ironically today, there is $1,000 in that line item, in that equipment line item, so we need more. But ironically, we were notified today of some more stimulus money that was on nobody's radar. And so we may be able to use that, it's for special education. So we may be able to use that stimulus money to purchase some of these, because there are some other equipment needs that are coming up as well. So we're gonna be looking at that, but for right now, we do need to get the table ordered, so we're asking for an amendment to that in there. The ARC transition service is also a special needs contract, and they help with the students at the high school to transition out. And we're always grateful for the donations, and somebody has donated use a trumpet to Valley View. And the teacher has accepted it, and it's all good.
Any questions, comments? If you've not already voted, please do so.
And that was a unanimous vote, Mrs. Brunsberg.
Thank you. Now we reach the second opportunity to address the board. Any comments? Okay, we'll move to roundtable, starting with Sue.
I don't have anything. We did have a policy, at a meeting yesterday. I did not realize when we left the first portion of it that we were going back in to meet, so I was not present for that, but I think that someone, probably Sean or Tom or Lisa, somebody will cover that, what we covered there. But basically it's about bringing in your BOCES to look at our policies and update those. And that would also include wellness policy, I would assume. So that would be good for the wellness committee as far as having that looked at, because we know it needs to be looked at. But otherwise, well, I did go to the homecoming game this weekend. It was very well attended, the weather wound up being awesome, great for a football game, and it was nice to have so many people back together and see some alumni. That's all I have.
I don't have much to share, sorry, but just Tom mentioned the crisis team, and I just wanted to thank all those members for you know, for doing that, those are super important, you know, hopefully don't have to use them very often, but I know they provide a lot of support to kids that need it, so just wanted to acknowledge that too. Nothing else?
I don't have any committee reports either, but I do have a couple things I would just like to share, like, about 2 weeks ago, 2 Fridays ago, September 24th, our football team took a visit to Watkins Glen for an 8 o'clock night game. And about the 5th play of the game, one of our students, Jack Crusoe, who's a senior and a 3-year starter on the football team, fell unconscious on the sideline. And I just kind of want to bring this up because my wife and I, Tracy, we volunteer for the football team and we keep statistics, and we've been doing it for, I don't know, over 5 or 6 years or something. And it was probably one of the most difficult nights of my life to see one of our students, one of our athletes, lay motionless on the ground for over 20 minutes while we waited for an ambulance. There was tears in everybody's eyes. It was the most heart-wrenching moment I've ever witnessed, to watch a parent of 2 parents, a mother and a father and a sister, just kind of be totally helpless while their child during a football game just fell unconscious and was laying there. One of the major things that I wanted to bring up about this is the way our football coaches handled all of this. I don't know if you know Coach Will Neal, who's the head coach, Coach Jason Neer, Coach Dave Bishop, Coach Mike Bagliaro, and a slew of volunteers, John Mushder, Pat Barber, Tom Marks, all helped out. And thankfully, Watkins Glen did have a physician on site. But Tom Marks and Jason Neer and Dave Bishop and Will Neal really took control of the situation. And I was really impressed. The way Dave Bishop got all of the paperwork there when the ambulance got there, and the ambulance crew had everything they needed, and how Tom Marks kind of sat with Jack the whole time while he laid motionless, and while Jason Neer helped with the parents and the sister. It was really an amazing thing to watch it. And I was at the game this week, and Jack Crusoe has recovered for the most part and was at the game. So, you know, thankfully he's recovered and is out of the woods now. But it was a really difficult situation because he had to be medevaced to Rochester from Watkins Glen, and the helicopter went over the football field, and everybody knew it. And, you know, I mean, it brought a tear to my eye to think about, you know, he was on a ventilator and didn't really gain consciousness till like 5 o'clock the next morning. So it was a very, very tenuous situation. But I think our coaches did a great job. And to hear the speech that Coach Will Neal gave at the end of the game, gathered the kids together. I mean, I could barely even contain myself for the rest of the game. And I don't know how our kids were able to, I mean, it wasn't a good game on our part, but how they were able to focus and even continue to play the rest of that football game was just amazing. But Coach Neal's speech at the end of the game, it wasn't about X's and O's, and it wasn't about, you know, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. It was about family and taking care of one another. And it was just a great speech, and he did a great job, and I was very impressed. And it just kind of reaffirmed to me that, you know, those guys are in the right position, and those are the guys that I would want to take care of my students and my kids if anything happened. And I was really impressed, and so I just like to share that. And I also like to thank the crisis team, because I know that they were convened, and the bus got back at probably midnight or something, and I know the crisis team was there, and I'm sure those kids needed it, because they were some of the strongest, toughest kids I know there, in tears at that football game. And what they were dealing with, I just couldn't imagine. So again, I thank the crisis team for taking care of that, and coaches, well done. This Friday night was a better Friday night. There was the alumni golf tournament. And at the alumni golf tournament, which had a great turnout, by the way, there were 34 foursomes. So the Oneida Country Club only wanted 25 or 26 foursomes. They ended up getting 34. So there was over 130 people there, plus all the volunteers and all the event coordinators and everything. There was a ton of Oneida graduates there. So it was a great event. But there was a group of seniors there that were collecting donations to put up a sign at the front of our entrance, a digital sign with, I guess, some stonework and stuff. And their goal was $25,000. And at the end, Seamus Catella and Carter Mackey ran up to me and they were elated that they raised over $26,800 and some dollars that day. So they overshot their goal. And I would like to thank Mr. Brenly. He was a big donor. I'm not gonna say how much he donated, but I know he was a big donor, a big part of that $26,000. So I appreciate that. And I was just overjoyed and happy that they were able to hit that mark in one day at that golf tournament and be able to hopefully, you know, dedicate a sign at the building. So that was really impressive. It's gonna be beautiful. Yeah, it's awesome. And that's all I have.
Jump over to Sean,
Just keep you on.
coming back quickly.
Oh, you know. Regarding what Sue had to say, the policy committee, I attended the meeting yesterday, the Zoom meeting. Everything, it was really informative. This is my first year on the policy committee. And the idea was looking at revamping our policies, make sure everything's in line with the state policy, and just get everything more streamlined and make it more sense when you really, if you want to look at it online, or when you pull up something, you could search. It was pretty impressive. And I know that afterwards we spoke, and I know Sue wasn't able to get out because somebody kicked her out of the meeting.
I was gonna
Anyways,
say that.
we spoke about it afterwards, and we really want to move forward with this company, and maybe some financial things we could budget in there for next year or sooner. And I think Tom can probably speak about it a little bit more, but I mean, honestly, it was something that I said, wow, I was pretty impressed with, so we're gonna move forward with that. Regarding what Tom and Darren and everybody's saying about this weekend and the crisis team and the football players, the coaches, this just is one more time, this shows me what exemplifies owning a city school district. How we come together in the time of needs, whether it be good or bad, we're always there. And it just really, it hits a place in my heart because I keep thinking about where I came from. And I'm not saying they don't do it now, but you just didn't see it. Now I see it. And I'm very thankful to still be part of this school district. I really am, to be part of the school board because we care. We honestly care. I know sometimes people don't think that, but trust us, we care in the best interest of everybody. So again, before I get all emotional, because I'm that kind of guy, it's really special to see that. And thank you, Tom, for your leadership. And Darren, you being there that night, I heard all about it, you know, through a second voice, and what you said really explained the whole thing. And thank you all for who part of that and who continue to be part of it. So that's all the further I have this evening. Mike?
I don't have any committee reports to share, and pretty much everything's been said, so on to you, Amy.
Well, thank you, and I certainly do echo the sentiments. I heard from several parents over the last week during that situation, and they too expressed how grateful and appreciative they were of the care that was taken of their children, coming home, meeting them, and I think the bus came at
1:35.
and meeting with and staying with anyone who needed your time and attention, and the crisis team working later that over the weekend to meet the needs of our students. And then this alumni weekend, you know, I know not everything got to happen, but I think overall it was a successful weekend, and lots of people came up and enjoyed themselves, and the alumni were well represented, and we inducted some new members into our Hall of Fame, and overall success. So at this moment, I will resolve to adjourn for the purposes of special education and personnel.
So.
Second.
I will say all in favor, and they will aye until we close the meeting, and on your